guys, this is Heidi, and this is Sunday Simple Supper, and I'm doing my food prep video for the month. It's been requested that I share this with you, and I just thought that I would show you what I have. This is, let me see, I'm going to try to get in front of the camera so you guys can see. But this here is my grocery list, and this is how I organize it out. I've done a video on this prior to show that basically I just designed a sheet of paper that walks me through the sections of the grocery store so that it's easier for me to you know, get everything on my list. And you can see it's all scratched out because I purchased it already. But this is my typed paper where I have all of my meals listed that we're going to eat this month. I try to do between 24 and 25 meals on this typed paper, but I always have 3 extra meals continually in the entire house. What I mean by that is if we have a snow day, I have extra meat and I have extra beans, I have extra certain things in the house that, you know, if there was a snowstorm or situation, it would be, you know, it would be okay. We have food in the house. And I do that just for emergency reasons, and I apologize for the terrible shadow on the piece of paper, but it is evening time. So the first thing I want to get going is I have my written out recipes for my crock pot meals that I want to make this month. So so the first thing I'm doing is mixing up the first sauce. This is for the first thing of the balsamic glazed drumsticks. I will tell you, when I mixed this sauce before, I thought the sauce smelled weird. I mean, you know, you have this balsamic vinegar and doesn't smell very appetizing, but once the juices of the, I'm trying to find my drumsticks here. Once the juices of the chicken mix with this, it is unbelievably yummy. It is so delicious. And you know, I made a comment, and I think I either wrote it or I said it, I can't remember, but I did say something about drumsticks not being really healthy. There's nothing wrong with drumsticks, but you do need to pull the skin off of them. That's what makes them not as good. So, but I leave the skin on them, and then on mine I just pull the skin off. So I'm putting an entire tray of family drumsticks. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and this has got 12 in it. I try to at least buy a tray of 10, that way my family, each one of us gets 2 drumsticks for a meal. Because, you know, I'm feeding teenage boys and they have healthy appetites, guys. In no way, shape, or form is there any problem with them eating. And another thing too is I am very spoiled mom because my children are not picky eaters. I hear people say they can't get their kids to eat certain vegetables and can't get them to eat this and that or whatever. And my children are not picky. They will absolutely eat anything that I put in front of them, whether it's just a healthy food option or whatever, they will eat. So now I'm going to mix my second sauce. So it's a ½ cup of the balsamic vinegar. And this balsamic vinegar, I found at Aldi's last month. I have never purchased this before. This was the first time ever getting it. I was really happy with it. And if I want to make this next month, I'll probably have to buy some more. But I'll show you guys what the actual, let me see here. There we go. The actual bottle looks like. Sorry about that, guys. but that's what the bottle looks like. You get a nice generous sized bottle. Then you want to add 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And let's see, you want to add, how much soy sauce? 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. 1, 2, 3. And this I also purchased at Aldi's as well. And then 1 nice tablespoon of honey. It's good. And then you just want to mix that real good because that honey kind of settles in there. So you do want to make sure that you mix it really good with a whisk, because you don't want your honey to, you know, just kind of settle and stick to the bottom. That would be kind of yucky. Then you wouldn't get all your honey in there, and that's what gives that chicken that really good sweetness. So I've got another container of my chicken drumsticks. And I have my Ziploc bags that I bought from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to put all of these drumsticks in this tray, in this Ziploc bag. Okay. I'm playing a balance game behind me here. Alright, I just want to give this a last stir, make sure none of that honey had, you know, settled in there, because I want to make sure I get all that honey in there. I'm going to pour this sauce in here in the bag. And then when you seal it, you just want to make sure you have all of the air out, because you don't, you know, you don't want the air in there, because you want to be able to lay these flat, so that, and I just kind of shake them around, make sure that sauce gets good and on all of them. So I'm going to go ahead and slip these into the freezer, and I'm going to get started on my next recipe. Okay, so now I'm doing the honey sesame chicken. Now the original recipe calls for chicken thighs, and I find that I like it better with the boneless, skinless chicken breast. The reason why is because, well, for one thing, I like that kind of meat a lot better, but the other thing is that you can pull it all apart, and this is very good, like just on hoagie rolls or Kaiser rolls. I like it just as good. It's almost like a pulled chicken or pulled pork, I guess is the way I would explain it. So what I do is I count 5 of these chicken breasts. 1, and these are big. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I add the sauce to it. And that is more than enough for our family. You know, if you have a larger crowd you are feeding, of course you want probably double this. But I don't see any reason why you couldn't put it all in the same Ziploc bag. And what's really nice about this recipe is I really love the fact that the chicken really takes on the flavoring that is put in these bags. It tastes so delicious. And I just squish it around. I want to make sure that that chicken gets coated in that dressing, because that's what makes this so, so yummy. Now I'm going to find a Sharpie somewhere, and I'm going to write on the fronts of these bags what this is. And I'm going to go ahead and load the second bag of the very same thing, and then I'll get started on the third recipe. Okay, so now I've got those two recipes done. Now I'm going to do my chicken fajitas. So I already have my peppers all washed. So it's 2 peppers for each recipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and cut the peppers up. But I think because we like the vegetable, we like a lot of vegetables, I'm just going to go ahead and make it 3. So I'm going to do 3 for each crock pot meal. So I'm going to do, I'm going to cut these up and put it in a Ziploc bag, and cut this one up and put it in a Ziploc bag, and then I'm going to do 1 large onion for each one, and then I'm going to cut up my chicken, and then I'm going to add my seasoning packets, and then those will be ready for the freezer. Okay, so now I have all of the vegetables in the bags. I have 2 bags here. I'm going to go ahead and add the seasoning, half the seasoning, because what I found last time was it came out delicious, but you add a package of the taco seasoning, so I'm going to add half over the vegetables in the bag, and then the other half over the meat. So I'll just take 1 and add it amongst these 2. My eyes are burning out of their sockets from all this. Woo! Onion. Goodness gracious. I want to get all the air out of there so I can shake this up. You want to try to get that seasoning in those veggies as best as you can. Whew, if I can see, oh my goodness, my eyes. Thought I was blind to start with. Okay. Alright, so we've got the veggie part done, and now I got to do the chicken breast part. So I do 5 chicken breasts per bag, but I slice them into strips. Let's see, I have 4 chicken breasts right here, and notice I chopped all of my vegetables before I go doing my meat because I don't want to transfer anything over here. Don't want to do that. And this is a different cutting board. Alright, let me get 1 more breast out of here. And these are big. Can you see how big this chicken breast is? That is a big chicken breast. Alright, I'm going to cut these up into strips. Last time, all I did was I just cut them in half because they're so big. And then I cut that in 2, and then I just cut them into strips. Like this. And that way, when you take this breast will kind of open up a little bit, and I just kind of saw it into strips. So it's not as thick either. You know, you can only put so much stuff in a tortilla, so if you cut it into cubes, if you wanted to, if you didn't want to do strips. Whew, oh my goodness. I'm telling you, my eyes and nose are feeling those onions right now. So I just cut it into strips, and once I get them cut into strips, then I, you know, the best I can, then I add the meat to the bags. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'll show you the bags when it's done. Okay, so I have all of my chicken and my veggies in these bags, and what I want to do now is I want to add the rest of the seasoning to them before I put them in the freezer. This is an awesome meal because you don't necessarily have to treat this as a crock pot meal. You do have to thaw it out first before you put it in a crock pot. But one thing that is really, really super nice about this is that you can put it in a skillet if you don't want to dirty up your crock pot, which I did last time, and it came out just as good and yummy. And I just squished the seasonings around in the bag. And that's what it looks like inside the bag right there. Now, some people said with this here recipe that they ended up adding a little bit more seasoning as they cooked it. You certainly can do that. And so in a skillet, I just put like a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, and then I grill, you know, basically do it all up like chicken fajitas till the chicken is done and the vegetables are as tender as I want. And I'm going to put these in the freezer. Now what I do is I start out with all my meals stacked like this, and then every couple hours I flip them like this because you want them to freeze solid. You want to make sure they freeze all the way or you're going to get bad meat. And then when that's done, then I stack them like this when they're frozen all the way. And then it's kind of like files itself inside my freezer and doesn't take up a whole lot of room. So I have some more chicken that's not going to be crock pot meals, but I'm just going to put them in the Ziploc bags. That is for sweet and sour chicken, I think. See, do I have one? Yeah, I have one container of chicken left. I want to do that for sweet and sour chicken one night, and I make that on the stove. So I'm just going to go ahead and file these. I'm going to file these papers. I'm going to put these meals in the freezer, and then I'm going to go on to the next thing I'm going to do. Okay, so I just thought I would share this. I do not put these containers in my freezer because when I get them, I have to leave them in the bag because they drip, you know, chicken juices all over the place, and that can cause some serious sickness. So I always freeze a chicken breast per person. And then that leaves me with 3 extra chicken breasts. And what I'm going to save that for is I can put this in my freezer. Actually, I think it's just 2 big ones. No, it's 3. I can put these 3 in my freezer, and I can use this for some chicken fried rice one night. Because 5 chicken breasts like this is more than enough for a meal for us. So I'm just going to freeze these. And I'm going to put this package in the door so I know that's a package of 3. And that way I don't accidentally thaw it when I think I'm thawing the other one. But I just like to get rid of this stuff because it leaks juices everywhere. I can't stand that. It drives me crazy. And I just want to, and this makes it look so much neater in my freezer, I think, in my opinion. So I'm going to freeze those, and that's kind of how I make these chicken breasts when I buy the family size and I break it up myself. It really allows me to, for my money to go a lot further per meal. So I'm going to clean this up and wash my hands really good and put this stuff in the freezer, and then on to the next step. I feel like I say that every time I let you guys go. Okay, one thing I did for prep is I went ahead and I filled up all of my jars. You can tell I've already been into them. There we go. There we go. Now we can see them. And of course, when I went grocery shopping, they were slightly out of rice, so I'm going to that will probably get me through the month, but I usually like to fill it up because then the next month I don't have to buy any rice. So that is one thing I did this month for food prep, is fill all my jars, and I'm so thrilled to death with the labels and how they turned out. If you haven't seen that video on how you know, I make the labels look as nice as they do, I'll link that video down below for you guys. Okay, so next for food prep, Valentine's Day is quickly approaching. In fact, it's tomorrow. And so I know this isn't really like food prep as far as, you know, like a month, something that's going to stick around for a month. but I thought I would throw this in because of Valentine's Day. For Valentine's Day, I always make my kids breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it all surrounds Valentine's Day. Now, as my kids have gotten older, this has been a little bit more challenging and fun because of the fact that they're not babies anymore. Used to, you could cut their PB&J into a heart-shaped sandwich, and that was, you know, cute. But they don't want to go to work with a heart-shaped sandwich. So both of my boys work tomorrow, and they both drink coffee. And they really need something that they can just grab and go. So I was going to preload their coffee pot for them and make them up like a little treat bag for them to grab in the morning. And I wanted them to have some little strawberry mini muffins for breakfast with their coffee. So I don't always make everything from scratch, and there is certainly nothing wrong with buying a mix or two to make your life easier. It's so funny because I love OCD Much. If you guys have not checked out her channel, I'll try to remember to link her down below. But she kind of was ragging on herself a little bit because she was going to make cupcakes with her kids, and she was using a mixed cake mix and a pre-made frosting. Guys, at least you are doing something with your kids. I can't tell you enough how many times I've seen parents just not do anything because they think that they have to do everything from scratch to make it good. And that is not the case all the time. Okay, so I love, with all that said, in my rambling, I love the Martha White brand. These are $1 a bag, very reasonably priced. I like the strawberry ones because, of course, it is Valentine's Day. And all you have to add is a half a cup of milk. That's all. And so I went ahead and I got my little my mini muffin pan. And that's right here. I think you guys can see it good enough. And I just had these cute little white cupcake liners. And I thought this would be really cute to put the mini muffin batter in. So that is what I'm going to do next. I'm just going to put a cup and a half of milk in here and open these packets up and get these loaded and get them in the oven and get them baked so that I can finish up this video and get it out to you guys for my monthly prep. And it is let's see what time it is. I will show you. I don't even know if you guys can see it. Can you guys see that? Whoop. It is 11, it's going to be 11:30 here in a minute. So yeah, it's 11:30 at night. So I'm going to go ahead and get these done, but that's fine because tomorrow's Saturday and I actually can sleep in just a little bit longer. And I usually stay up late on Friday nights. I don't know why, I just stay up terribly late just doing things. And I guess because the house is quiet and everybody is just kind of like doing their thing. So I'm going to go ahead and get these mini muffins going, and then I will be back to show you what they look like. Okay, there are my little mini muffins, and I've got one more pan to bake, and then I have these little brown bags and I write their names and Happy Valentine's Day. And I made some, I made this yesterday. I made some Monkey Munch, which they absolutely love. I have a video coming out to show you guys how to make that. And then they get their little things, and then I'll sit out their to-go cups for their coffee in the morning. And they will be happy. Okay, so I'm going to get this going.